Good morning, everybody. Shift your mindset here. New episode. Episode of today will be: it was the best convention ever. We all know these phrases, and it's the time of the year that you hear those phrases again. Every year, it's the best convention ever, best assembly ever. But I always find it one of the most bizarre sentences Jehovah's Witnesses can give you. Why? It's always on repeat. It's like a broken record. It is a conditioned phrase they use. But is it true? Is it really something that is true? It's in the same line as there is so much love in the congregation. Field service is so rewarding. There is nothing like brotherly love. If you leave the organization, where else are you going to go? This is the JW bingo card, people. You will only find happiness in God's organization. Trip down memory lane. Jehovah's people are the happiest people in the world. There was so much spiritual food. These are some phrases, conditioned responses of Jehovah's Witnesses. And everybody who is watching now, Jehovah's Witness or not, knows these conditioned sentences. It's a broken record. It keeps on going and going and going and going. But let's play another game. Just if you hear these weeks or the upcoming months, just ask a simple question. And I asked that questions this year a few times to Jehovah's Witnesses. And every time I get the same response. So it's not an isolated incident. It's real. I ask them always, what made it the best convention ever? You were there 3 full days. So 24 hours of education, videos, talks, hanging out with your buddies in the cafeteria. What made it the best ever? Remember that question. Ask them that question. It's just that simple. Because after that question, I hear for more than 10 seconds, nothing. Silence. You hear the crickets. Even you come to the point that you can say, hey, are you still there? If you have someone on the phone. If someone is in front of you, it's easier. But they avoid contact. They avoid to respond. Why? There is no response. And then they say, oh yeah, there were so many good talks or so many good videos. It was so great. It's very hard to remember one single thing that I found best, that I liked the most. And then you know that's complete bullshit. Why? Because if there's something that you liked, if I go to a car show or car dealership or whatever, I can like multiple cars, a little bit. That's interesting. But there's always one thing that interests you the most. There's always one thing you like the most. Something, I can listen to music, but there's only one song maybe that's touching something inside you, that you can get emotional, that you are thinking about something, or that you are referring to something in life that happened to you that is related to the words that they are singing, stuff like that. But they always keep it general. Oh yeah, there was so much to like, there was so much nice talks, stuff like that. And then you can ask, do you remember one of the videos? Do you remember something of it? Yeah, of course, but there were also so many about Jesus. Because that's what they do. They keep it general. And why? Because it doesn't absorb anything. They're sitting there, like the thumbnail in my video. They're sitting there looking somewhere. A lot of people are sleeping. All the people almost ate too much during the break or during the program, just to keep them occupied. Because a lot of people, 80-90%, in my belief, are sitting there and wanted to be somewhere else. People are not programmed to sit for 4 hours, especially that Friday afternoon. I hated it. It was about 1 o'clock, 1:30 to 5 o'clock. It was dragging and dragging along on a day. At the end of the week, where you're already tired, you worked 4 days before that, and then you had to drag yourself to that Friday afternoon program. It was always the worst. Sunday you were an hour earlier, then you were happy. But you were always looking, and you had those talks that sometimes lasted an hour or 45 minutes. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't, and you're sitting there and you have annoying neighbors next to you. One is sweating so much that the whole section is smelling that guy. People are eating continuously. Why? To keep them occupied. People are sleeping. Mostly they are tired, they ate too much. The children are annoying. They have to go up and down and with them. And they have to go to the bathroom and back and stuff like that. So a lot of people are sleeping. A lot of people are wandering off with their mind. They are not fully focused on what is said. Some people make notes, but how often, when you made notes, did you read that note again after that convention? Never. Only maybe if a brother, I had to do a talk about the convention and I had to go through my notes. So then it was handy that you had those notes. But otherwise, you don't look at those notes. So they're sitting there full of cognitive dissonance, full of wandering minds. But if you ask them a question, what do you like the most about the program? They can't give you a straight answer. And that's, people, where you see that it's a conditioned religion. That you have to say, oh, it was the best convention. It's just people say to each other without thinking it through. And that's the problem. Nothing they do is thought through. So there you can see that their mind, their brain, their critical thinking isn't working. Because was it the best convention? Do you remember the last year's convention even? Probably not. Maybe one video, because it is rehearsed during the midweek meeting or whatever. But you can't remember anything. Why? Because you're shut down. It's too much, it's too general, it's too childish. The stuff is dumbed down and people get bored. People get bored. That's why they bring those big coolers with them, with a lot of food, with a lot of drinks, just to keep them occupied and dragging themselves through the day. But I always like it to question it. What did you like most? Because it's so easy. If I go to something that has my interest, my passion, my deep down desire, I can name you 100 things. If someone is proud of what he is doing, or he likes a certain topic, a friend of mine also likes cars, he can sit here in front of me and talk for hours with passion about him building his car. And I changed the turbo and I did it like this, and then I had the Toyo tires on it, and he was happy, he was radiating, he was smiling, he was giving me the whole story. And I was listening to him and I thought, hey, this is what you like. This is your passion. You like to be a mechanic. You like to build something. I like to drive cars, but I don't have the understanding of all the parts. I can do some things, but not in depth as he can. And I like it because he's passionate about it. He is living it. He is living, working to build cars the way he likes it, to tune cars, to do things. And then you see that sparkle in people's eyes, that they are passionate about something. But did you ever see a Jehovah's Witness be passionate about the convention, about going into the ministry? Yeah. We went into ministry. Oh yeah, Jehovah's always blessing us. I was tired, but after the ministry, I felt more energy. Yeah, because you walked. And if you are sitting at home and you go walking, but I rather go walking in nature than walking in some suburb with some awakes, you get even more energy. But walking and exercising keeps you going, gives you more energy, gives you more air, whatever. That's normal. But are they passionate about what they do? Because if the organization now would say, ministry, you don't have to do it anymore, you don't have to come to the congregation, how many people would still go into ministry? No one. Because it's deep down inside, it's no one's passion. So they are sitting 3 days in a row, dragging themselves through those days. If they have a child, they're happy because they can go everywhere with the excuse of their child. But in the end, you have soaked up 24 hours, more or less, of spiritual food. Spiritual companionship with your brother and your sister. And if you ask them what did you like the most, they even can give you a straight answer. And then, my people, activate your critical thinking. What am I doing? Are we the happiest people on this earth? Ask yourself that question. Because I'm happier working in the garden, what I like, because then I can turn off my thinking. Cutting the grass gives me no thinking. I rather spend my day cutting the grass, seeing the result of what I'm doing, than to sit on that convention in my suit and tie, eating a little bit, distracting myself, because it's forced upon you. You're conditioned. And you can check that if you tick those boxes of this JW bingo card. If you can tick one of those boxes, you have a conditioned response. So, it was the best convention ever. There's so much love in the congregation. That's crap. There's no love in the congregation. It's a one, everybody for themselves. There's no love. There's no real love. If I call someone at 10 o'clock at night and I say, hey, I'm in trouble because I had a divorce, I was feeling lonely. I called a best friend of mine and he said, oh no, 10 o'clock, okay, can it be tomorrow? Because I have to put my children into bed and my wife and I had planned tonight to do something together and stuff like that. And that was one of my best friends in the JW religion. And when I needed him, one time in my whole life, one time in those 20 years that we were friends, he came up with an excuse and said, oh, maybe tomorrow I will see, I will let you know, blah, blah, blah. I could be on the verge of suicide. I wasn't, but I could be. And then you get brushed off by your brother. So there's so much love in the congregation. Conditioned response based on nonsense. There's nothing like brotherly love. I have a better connection with the guy who is helping us to build the house. He's living here on the other side, down the street. I have the remote of his gate. I know him for 2 weeks now. I have the remote of his gate. Why? If something is wrong, Sven, you can enter the premises. You can enter the plot. If I need someone to help me at night, there's something going on. I want you to have these keys that you have access to my home. I can go in. I can go everywhere. He has also a remote of our gate that he can come in and out with material, no problem. House is open, we trust him. What's about the brotherly love in the congregation? It's everybody for themselves. If you leave the organization, where would you go? Conditioned response, people. There's so much places to go. Everywhere beside that organization is the best way to go. You can't go wrong with leaving the organization. You only find happiness in God's organization. I can tell you, I'm the living proof that outside of the congregation, I'm a happier person. I'm more optimistic. I'm more positive. I follow my dreams. I follow my passions. I live a fulfilling life. My life is more simpler. My life is simple now. I want to be in nature. I don't want stress. I don't want anything to do with other people if I don't have to. I can be here with my wife and be happy. With the donkeys, with the chicken, whatever. It's more happiness, more fulfilling if you stand on your own 2 feet. So, this is the time for conventions. This is the time that a lot of people are sleeping on the conventions, but if you ask them, let me know if you get a straight, honest response of anybody, or that you have the same experience as I have, that you are getting general answers. Oh yeah, best convention ever. Oh, there was so much spiritual food, I can't choose. It was all so great. What was so great? A movie about Jesus. But what in that movie encouraged you? What in that movie made that you say, hey, I'm gonna take this and implement this in my life because my life would be better? Give me an example. It isn't that hard, people. So try it out. It's convention time. Try it out. Let me know if you can relate to this or that you have a completely different experience. I'm anxious to know, and we see each other on the next episode.